You are now listening to our Inner Power podcast program, The Heart of War, Impact, and Healing, where we uncover the profound effects of conflict and the path to recovery. In this episode, we'll be delving into the ripples of conflict, the interconnectedness of all beings, and the ripple effect of war. Personal stories from individuals directly affected by the current conflict. The concept of interbeing, how one person's suffering is everyone's suffering. High harmony seekers. Today we're coming together, not in a physical location, but in a shared state of mind. It's amazing how our hearts and minds can come together, even though we're so far apart, to share our concern for the suffering in Gaza and Israel. I want to talk about how everything and everyone is connected. It's like when something bad happens in one place, it affects everyone else in the world too. The interconnectedness of all beings is very interesting, don't you think? It's fascinating to consider how everything in the world is connected in some way. If you've ever seen a leaf gracefully drifting down from a tree, you've actually witnessed something deeply meaningful. You know, the leaf can't exist on its own. It needs something else to be a part of. So basically, it's like this. The thing is connected to a branch, right? And that branch is actually part of a whole tree. And you know what? That tree gets all its nourishment from the soil, the rain, and the sun. The leaf is actually part of a bigger picture, connected to a whole web of life. Just like us, we don't exist in isolation. You know, our happiness, our suffering, even our very breath, it's all connected to other people. It's pretty clear that the conflict between Gaza and Israel really shows this truth. The cries of a mother in Gaza are really heartbreaking, and they resonate with mothers all around the world. It's really scary when an Israeli child's fear becomes something that parents everywhere can relate to. You know, this war, like any war, doesn't just impact the people directly involved. The impact of it is felt by people all over the world, touching our hearts and souls. It's something we all experience together, a mix of pain, hope, and our shared humanity. If we really want to understand something, we need to listen attentively. Just listen. Not to react or judge, but to truly understand. Let me read to you letters from two people as they share their experiences. They're both caught up in this conflict, and I think it'll be really interesting to hear what they have to say. This is from a Palestinian man. Hi, my name is Ahmad. I'm from Gaza. It's such an amazing place with a rich history and a lively culture. Just like everyone else, my life has been a beautiful mix of happy moments and sad ones, filled with both celebrations and heartbreak. I remember my earliest memories. They're not about conflict at all. Instead, I think of all those wonderful family gatherings. The best part was the delicious smell of my grandmother's makluba filling the air. And of course, I can still hear the laughter of my cousins as they played in our courtyard. Such happy times. But as I got older, the scenery from my childhood started to transform. Sometimes, the laughter was drowned out by the loud fighter jets and the shaking caused by explosions. Every night, when I put my kids to bed, I can't help but feel a mix of hope and fear for their future. It's like these emotions have become my constant companions. I've been trying to explain to them why we sometimes have to hurry to safer parts of our home, why their friends suddenly move away, and why the sky lights up at night. So, how would you go about explaining a lifetime of conflict to young souls? One time, my son Ibrahim asked me why the world is so loud. I had to take a moment to realize that when he said loud, he was referring to those unexpected interruptions and nerve-wracking moments of uncertainty. I was like, you know how sometimes people just don't get each other and end up yelling? But you know what? It's important to remember that after all the noise, there's always a moment of silence. And in that silence, we can find those precious moments of peace. I am a teacher. My goal is not just to teach academic subjects, but also to help my students develop resilience, hope, and understanding. Every day can be quite a challenge. How can I teach math to my students when they're hungry due to blocked supply routes? How can I possibly teach history when their own stories are being written right now? Filled with so much pain and suffering, let me tell you about my wife. She's truly the rock of our family. Even when she's having a really tough day, she always manages to find hope. She often reminds us of something her dad used to say, "After going through hard times, things will get easier." But you know what? Sometimes I catch a glimpse of her when she thinks nobody's watching. I can see the worry etched on her face, and her eyes seem lost in thought. We, the people of Gaza, are incredibly resilient, you know? We really go all out when it comes to celebrating weddings. And when times get tough, we always come together to support each other. It's amazing how we hold on to hope, no matter what. But you know, deep down, we all just want things to go back to normal. We want peace. We want to live without worry. And we want our kids to have simple concerns like scraped knees and missed playdates. Even with all that's going on, I still have dreams. I really hope for a Gaza where my kids can pursue their dreams without the constant presence of conflict. Where can they walk the streets and feel safe? I dream of a world where they, and all children, have the opportunity to just be themselves. And this is a letter from an Israeli woman. Hi, I am Miriam. I was actually born in Tel Aviv, which is such a vibrant and lively city. The streets of this place are filled with history and memories, each corner telling its own unique story. My story is just one of millions, but it's definitely influenced by the bigger picture of my country. I remember those summer evenings by the beach, with the smell of the sea mixing with the delicious aroma of freshly baked burkas from the stalls nearby. Those moments were so amazing, like we were in our own little world of happiness and freedom. But you know, as the years went by, there were moments when the bubble would burst, and suddenly we'd hear the piercing wail of sirens, and everyone would scramble to find shelter. I have two amazing kids. You know what's interesting? My oldest child has definitely inherited her grandfather's inquisitive nature. It's so fascinating to see how traits can be passed down through generations, don't you think? She's always asking questions, trying to understand the complexities of the world around her. One evening, while we were all huddled in our safe room, she looked up at me with those big, curious eyes and asked, "Mama, why are they so mad at us?" I could hear genuine curiosity and a hint of fear in her voice. You know, it's always a challenge to explain to kids why certain things in life are the way they are. I said to her, "Hey, sweetheart, it's a pain that's been around for ages, passed down from one generation to another. It's kind of like a wound that hasn't completely healed yet. I can't wait for the day when I won't have to find words to explain conflicts to her." My youngest is just 5 years old. He calls the safe room the loud noises room because it has thick walls and no windows. Whenever we're there, I always grab a box of crayons and we start drawing. It's like our special little tradition, a way to take a break from the harsh reality out there. So, there was this one day when he decided to draw the sun, but he didn't just draw it like a regular old sun. He added a bunch of different colors around it. And then he turned to his mama and said, "Hey, look, even the sun has lots of shades, just like people do." My husband is in the IDF. Whenever he's called for duty, it feels like a heavy weight settles in my heart. During our nightly calls, we often find ourselves sharing our dreams and hopes for the future. Sometimes we have these moments of silence where we just understand each other without even saying a word. Living in Israel you can really feel the incredible mix of cultures and histories all around you. It's like there's always this interesting contrast happening. It's interesting how we can have these wonderful Shabbat dinners with our family, but at the same time, we're also dealing with all the uncertainties that are waiting for us outside our doors. It's interesting how we have to balance teaching our kids about love and peace with the realities that might test those beliefs. I really hope that one day, the children of Israel and Palestine can live together peacefully, without the past casting a shadow over their present. A time when our shared histories can bring us together instead of keeping us apart. I just want my two children to grow up in a world where they don't have to associate their identity with conflict. That's my dream, plain and simple. I always imagine a world where every child can dream freely and walk the path of peace. We can understand that they both, Ahmad and Miriam, have a deep desire for safety, a return to normalcy, and ultimately peace. War doesn't care who it hurts. It brings pain to everyone. Both sides have scars, both physical and emotional. You know, when we really listen closely, we start to see that underneath all those political, ethnic, or religious labels, we all share a common human experience. We all love and treasure our loved ones. It's tough when we lose something or someone we care about. We all have that hope for a better tomorrow. I do believe that every action, thought, and word we express holds significance. They're just like stones being thrown into a pond, making ripples that reach every shore. Wow, it's really amazing how interconnected we all are. Just imagine for a moment. A simple act of kindness. Maybe you could offer a comforting word to a friend? Doing something as simple as this can actually make a big difference in someone's mood. It might even inspire them to be kind to someone else, creating a chain reaction of positivity. The ripple just keeps going, reaching so many people. Imagine if, instead, actions driven by anger or misunderstanding ended up causing a lot of pain for everyone involved. When we listen to Ahmad and Miriam, their experiences really touch our hearts because they are so genuine and real. Both stories, even though they come from different places and cultures, ultimately share a common human truth. It's about our deep desire for peace, understanding, and the well-being of the people we care about. It's fascinating how everything in existence is interconnected and depends on each other, you know? Ahmad's dreams for his children in Gaza and Miriam's wishes for her family in Tel Aviv are actually connected. They come from the same deep place of human longing. It's easy to forget this simple truth amidst all the machinery and political complexities of war. Deep down, beneath all the labels, nationalities, and borders, we all have hearts that beat in remarkably similar rhythms. Hearts that long for laughter instead of tears, for enjoying meals together instead of dividing lands, for love instead of experiencing loss, the pain a mother feels in Tel Aviv, and the sorrow a father experiences in Gaza. They're like two sides of the same coin. It's like the moon reflecting in the waters of our shared human experiences. When someone goes through a tough time, it affects all of us, no matter the barriers we put up. But you know what? Our shared suffering actually brings us closer together and makes us stronger. You know, it's like when a drop of ink spreads out in water, reaching every molecule. In the same way, if we all come together with compassion, we can break down barriers and bring understanding and unity. I'd love to do walking meditation whenever I feel stress or anxious. It's an amazing practice that I recommend you should try. As we take each step, we can't help but feel connected to the earth. It's like we're all walking on the same planet, breathing the same air, and being nourished by the same sun. If we keep this awareness in mind every day and acknowledge how everything is interconnected, maybe the path to peace won't feel so far away. How about we experience a moment of collective mindfulness, Wherever you are, just take a deep breath. Just take a moment to notice the air filling up your lungs, the ground beneath your feet, and the space all around you. Please keep Ahmad's dreams and Miriam's hopes close to your heart. How about we take a moment to breathe for peace, understanding, and a world where every child can grow up without the fear of conflict? Just take a deep breath, and please remember, when we all breathe together, share our hopes, we have the power to create a better and more peaceful future. Today, we went on a journey together, exploring stories and emotions that connect us as human beings. We could feel the heartbeat of the world, you know. It was like this powerful rhythm filled with love, hope, and even pain. As we wrap up the ripples of conflict, let's continue to explore the deeper undercurrents of our shared experiences. Next, we'll talk about fear, the root of all wars. What's fear? How does it shape societies? How it influences the way people think and act, and how those effects can last for generations. Do you think that by understanding fear, we can really get to the heart of conflicts? And more importantly, find a way to achieve true reconciliation and peace? Can't wait to explore it together.